Hello, all my wonderful, beautiful broskies. The wonderful, beautiful broskies. The wonderful, beautiful Maverick Nation. I am the one, the only, the dark, the shadow, the Maverick, the dark shadow Maverick. Here, bringing you guys the taste. I mean, considering how close I did the two Broly parts together and how close I did the two Team Fortress, My Hero Academia crossover parts together. I don't think it's too much of a stretch for me to do the same thing with this What If. And besides, I'm not even going to be doing, the if Naruto had the freaking Renegon one all that much, seeing as if you guys watched all the way at the end, you would know that I am not very enthusiastic about that one. So, yeah, I guess now we know where we stand. And if I remember correctly, last time we were, you know, approaching the UI entrance exam. And, well, if you guys remember, the only reason that Carnage is even in this is because Venom sensed Riot's presence. So that's a little something to be thinking about as we go along with this story. So, basically, it's the day of the entrance exam. And, well, Izuku, the way things have been going, like, Endeavor's not really sure that he should, recommend, give Izuku a recommendation. So that he does take the recommendation test. He's not really sure that he should do that. And Shoto's like, well, if Izuku's not going to take the recommendation test, then I'm not going to take the recommendation test. And Endeavor's just like, fine. And so, unlike before where Shoto took the recommendation test to get in, this he's going to be taking the regular test. Because he wanted to stick with his bro, Izuku. And, well, basically things go normally in canon. However, whenever Eva wants to be a big old smartass, Shoto shuts him up real quick, fast, in a hurry, just so that Izuku doesn't, destroy his ass. He does it so that Izuku doesn't have to. Yes. And, well, the written portion, it isn't that hard because Izuku has that big brain of his, and Shoto's smart in his own right. So, so they at least get into, if not top 3, at least top 5 for the whole written portion. However, the practical portion of the exam, the later part of it, Izuku and Shoto are put in the same, area, like zone thing. They're put in the same place. And Izuku is wondering whether he should actually show off Carnage. Or how much of Carnage he should show off, if he decides to. And, well, there's Shoto's coming with him, so... Well, you also have to think about what exactly is on Izuku's registration paper, like what quirk it says he had. Hmm. Hmm. How do I put this? Basically, Zuku's quirk is written down as body matrix. Or at least that's what it was technically going to be written down as, but this quirk is basically said to be sentient, and even though the quirk itself is named Body Matrix, it itself likes to call itself Carnage. And the reason why it was given the false name Body Matrix is because of the way it works and revolves around Izuku. It just wraps around him. And, like, the way it's able to do certain things. So technically the court called itself Carnage, but what's written down on the registration paper is Body Matrix. Because of the way it works and the way it affects Izuku. And like some of the heroes are like, Body Matrix, what could that mean? And, well, as things are happening and everything is going on, Izuku's wondering, Hmm. Fire. Ice. Hmm. He just starts revving up, like popping in his fingers. And, Shoto's like, Izuku, I don't think you want to show them that. And, Izuku's like, okay, fine. And, well, basically, they would speed out of the doors as soon as, like, the gates creaked open a little. Like, Izuku would just, like, force his body, like, to flex up, and then just speed blitz, and the doors, like, fly straight open from all of the, like, movements, like, I just send him open with all of that, connected collective energy that he's like putting out while he's moving. And so, well, yes, Izuku indeed would be getting points because he would have found out several of the things that he can do over the 10 months. He would have figured out how to web swing. He would have figured out about the Spidey sense and how that works. He would have figured out about spikes and the tendrils. He already kind of knew about the tendrils. And the tendrils, spikes, like the spider webbing, spidey sense. And he even knew that he could use certain parts of his body, like the tendrils, to like mix and mingle around with like people's quirks. And well, there, but there would still be some certain things that, you know, he wouldn't really know all that much about. It would still be a while before, the collective mind, got all of the knowledge in the noggin. And, well, basically everything goes pretty much as in canon, only different because of the differences that have appeared, Carnage and Shoto and pretty much everything, you know. So, it would pretty much go pretty solid. That is until the Zero Pointer shows up. And, like, the Spidey sense begins to, turn all topsy-turvy whenever the Zero Pointer comes out of nowhere. And, well, Izuku's just like, shit. And then there would be like the sound of a girl's voice, like, help, help. And, like one look from Izuku and Shoto already knows what to do. Shoto goes straight in there. Now, keep in mind, in this thing, as Endeavor's not nearly as much of an asshole, and Shoto freely uses his fire and his ice and his fire. He doesn't have that part of him that says, I'm not using this quirk, whatever. He hasn't built that type of resentment. Endeavor's not nearly as bad as the canon Endeavor. This Endeavor isn't. So, none of that. So, Shoto is able to freely use his ice and fire, and so it's pretty easy for him to save the person, who I will not reveal yet. It could be Uraraka or it could not be Uraraka, who knows? Only I know, but I haven't even decided yet. However, the Zero Pointer definitely does ring a couple bells, because Venom replicated in order to create Carnage, so there's some of Venom's thoughts buried deep down inside of Carnage. So there would still be like a sort of buried, deep hidden down memory of Riot. And, well, oh boy. Whenever this like pops into Izuku's mind hole, this hidden, buried deep down memory, all these memories that are surfacing now, bubbling up to the surface, just because like this giant hulking machine reminds like the Venom parts of the Carnage Symbiote about Riot, what Riot was like back at their home planet, and about the fact, not only that, but about the fact that the reason why Venom was so, post haste to replicate in the first place, because of freaking Riot and the fact that he decided he was going to show his ass over on planet Earth. And so this hulking machine basically reminding, the Venom parts of the Carnage Symbiote about Riot. Oh, if you thought what happened with the Sludge Villain was bad. Oh, no, 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 no. This is bad. Because now we got some super flexing to be doing. Because literally, like, all of a sudden, just, like, bubbles up from Izuku's body. And Izuku is just feeling all of this. And, hearing and seeing everything. And even, like, tasting it. And, smelling it maybe? Like, all of his senses are overrun by the past memories of Riot. And even, like, the fact that Venom was able to sense that Riot was headed towards Earth, and this thing reminds, the Venom parts of Carnage about Riot, and the fact that Riot is headed towards Earth. And so, honestly, with something like the Zero Pointer, a panic attack is going to ensue. Either a panic attack or an insane meltdown of all of Izuku's like mental fortitude, or both. And well, that does happen. Izuku, literally his skin begins to boil, and once all the boiling is done, out from the surface of the skin, through the creases, like the very, I forget what they're called, like, the pores of the skin, out from, like, the creases of the pores, comes bubbling out the symbiote suit. And, just like full suit up action. Up in here. And, oh, good God. Is everyone now, like, just legit terrified? The short answer and the obvious answer, both the short answer and the obvious answer being yes. Indefinitely yes. Everyone is, like, freaking terrified. I mean, I literally in the last part just said that this Carnage transformation in itself is taller and bigger than All Might. In his buff form, All the might you can handle. And so, this is gonna be sick, to say the least. And let's just say that, have you ever been really excited to open your Christmas presents or birthday presents, and you see the wrapping paper, and automatically the first thing you want to do is rip it to shreds? That's basically what Izuku is doing to the Zero Pointer. Literally making it look like wrapping paper on Christmas. Like, just not even freaking funny. How bad. Good God. Goodness gracious me. Glory be. Goodness gracious me. And, well, at the end of it, like, there's just only destruction in Izuku's wake. You know, the wake of the unbridled power of the Carnage Symbiote. And Shoto is like, he's already taken this, unnamed girl, who may or may not be the ship for whichever character. Could be Shoto's ship, could be Izuku's ship, but whatever. But already taken them to Recovery Girl, and basically whenever Shoto looks back for Izuku, and what he sees, he is freaking horrified. Like, scarred, like, just deeply scarred at all the havoc and destruction that, Izuku just, like, freaking did with, like, just ripping, Zero Pointer to shreds. Though, they didn't save the girls, so they kinda, like, half the hero points that you would have gotten originally. Like, they kinda half it, like, in between the two of them. So it's like 50% hero points for Izuku, 50% hero points for Shoto. They half it, basically. And, well, also because, while Izuku did save this girl, he also made a mess out of the general area that him, Shoto, and several other student applicants were in. Just, like, made a mess out of the place. Like, Jesus Christ. So, yeah. And then finally, whenever Shoto comes back, and Izuku realizes that Shoto's back from taking the girl to Recovery Girl, like, he feels calm around Shoto, so logically, you'd be able to say that Izuku would finally desuit. However, Shoto realizes whenever, like, Izuku is, like, desuited, that he's hyperventilating. Like, and his skin is, like, as cold as freaking ice. Like, Jesus. Something happened to Izuku whenever he was suited up. This time, like this time, something happened. Something must have happened, because it was nothing like that before. Izuku wasn't hyperventilating, that's for sure, and his skin was not as cold as freaking ice. Now, I'm not just talking regular ice, I'm talking dry ice. Like, Izuku's skin was cold. Like, not just ice, but dry ice. Isn't it like the coldest ice you can have? Like, I heard like nitrogen, like liquid nitrogen or something. But I heard dry ice is pretty damn cold. Like a pretty damn cold version of regular ice, which is already cold because it's, ice. So, yeah, Shoto's just like, Jesus, he's got me shivering. And half of my quirk thing is ice. And so Shoto is like, It's got me shivering, so yeah, definitely there is something wrong. And plus, Izuku is hyperventilating. Like, mad hyperventilating. So, yeah. He's gonna take Izuku to Recovery Girl as well. Just to find a way to, calm the situation down. And well, Recovery Girl, after treating Izuku, Shoto would be outside of the room, waiting patiently for the news on how Izuku was doing. And Recovery Girl would tell him that Izuku, she thinks his quirk might be more dangerous to him than anyone else. Or at least a close equivalent, like his quirk might actually be hurting him. But for what reason or why, she doesn't really seem to know. And, well, whenever Izuku is eventually brought out, because he eventually is, kind of conscious, but not conscious at the same time. He's kind of, half asleep, half awake. He's still, recovering a little. But, however, Carnage is able to come out and, sorry. Didn't mean to do that, just sight of that giant robot. Memories. Not good ones either. And, Shoto would just be like, what kind of memories? And Carnage would be like, remember how Izuku got all angry whenever he mentioned his past in front of that Momo Yaoyorozu girl? Those kind of memories. Only worse. Technically, I was born from a symbiote known as Venom. Venom, his host, my father's host, was Izuku's birth mother, Inka Midoriya. However, Venom replicated whenever he sensed the presence of someone who wasn't supposed to be headed towards here. Someone who was not supposed to be anywhere near here. This planet. Another symbiote named Riot. Last time Venom and Riot had met, the deal was that Riot wouldn't come anywhere near here. Venom knew how Riot was like, what he was like, the kind of symbiote he was. A monster. And so, filling those memories through what left of, my father I still had in me from our separation. Feeling that, seeing that, knowing that. No wonder Izuku reacted the way that he did. And he was also part of me as well. For some reason, it almost feels like my bond with Izuku is more than just a symbiotic one. We feel the same feelings in a way that I don't think most symbiotes usually do. Even the ones that are really closely bonded with their host. It's like we even have the same hopes, dreams, aspirations, fears, especially fears. Yes. And that's why we freaked out like that. The both of us. We went into overdrive. Because, like I said, same fears. What little was left of our father, what little was left of my father inside of both me and Izuku, memory remembered Riot, his hulking form, and mistaked Zero Pointer's hulking form for Riot. Either that or just the memory of Riot in general sparked something that wasn't supposed to be there. And so our body reacted in a way that caused a lot of problems for both Izuku and myself. And Shoto's just like, I really started to not liking this guy, this Riot. So, what do you know about him from what's left of your father that's still inside of you? And Carnage would be like, well, it's mostly filtered out by now into the bloodstream. And well, technically I'm part of Izuku's bloodstream. That's how, kinda the symbiotic bonding worked. And it still is working. So the memory's pretty ironclad. And so Carnage would tell Shoto pretty much everything they knew about Riot. From the memory that comes from the DNA of their father that was left over inside of them before the replication happened. That ended up creating Carnage. And from what Shoto hears, he's both very scared and very pissed off. Because there's some guy like that out there who's headed towards Earth. And Shoto knows that can't be any good. And also, it makes him angry because, it distressed his little brother or little brothers, so much that they basically had a panic attack and attacked everything that was in front of them and around them. It's a miracle that none of the students died. Well, not really students, applicants. So it's a miracle none of them died. In the midst, in the wake of all of the carnage, he's basically very angry because that basically just knowing about what Riot is like, from Venom's memories, Shoto does not like Riot because, one, it scared Izuku and Carnage, and two, scaring them, it caused them to go crazy, and, that just makes him really sad because of what happened, and also really angry, but instead of his anger being directed at his father for reasons that were in the anime, his anger is now directed at Riot. Whenever Riot comes to Earth, because inevitably he will land, Shoto's like, you're not leaving me out of this. I'm going to hunt him down with you. Besides, as we already know, symbiotes hate fire. And so, I plan to burn Riot to the ground. And seeing as Endeavor was a part of the whole thing, Endeavor would have been in the observatory as well, so he would have went to find his children, and so he would have heard everything that Shoto had just said, and everything that Carnage had said to Shoto. And been like, well, seeing as I am your father, I wouldn't exactly imagine you leaving me out of burning this riot. And Shoto's like, I wouldn't dare dream of it, father. But at least give me a chance to roast him good before you join in. You know, Endeavor, knowing that Shoto and Izuku have that close brother connection, because technically they are brothers. You know, because, you know, Izuku was adopted into the Todoroki family. They are brothers, you know, legally, through the system. They're brothers. And, well, you know, Carnage does indeed remind them that technically Izuku has, you know, Shoto's quirk, and so he can also burn Riot alive, you know, for messing with his head. And, well, basically, after the day was all good and done and over with, everyone would have their own things to worry about. You know, while they're waiting, basically, for Shoto and Izuku to receive the letter to see if they got into UA or not. Basically, Principal Nesu, not exactly having bad hearing, would have also heard and basically told all the other heroes about this incoming threat to the planet Earth, and that it's to be kept secret in between all of them. And so, well, it's definitely a tense situation, and that's made even more evident when, on the very night of the entrance exam, well, whenever Izuku's asleep, he has a nightmare. A nightmare that the hulking form of Riot has basically ripped him apart from his symbiote buddy Carnage, just ripped them apart from each other, and thrown him into a wall, while simultaneously slurping up Carnage's form like it's freaking ramen noodles. And, well, Izuku's beaten and battered, damaged body, and he has to, like, limp away, like, speed limp, because, like, he's in this dream, he's already started out pretty badly beaten down. Because, you know, that would have had to happen in order for him to be able to, you know, actually rip the two away from each other. You know, in order for Riot to do that. He would have had to already do some serious damage. And as Izuku is speed limping, he sees Endeavor, his, you know, adopted father, being like, go, Izuku, go, go, run, I'll hold him off. And Izuku would ask, what happened to Shoto, Fuyumi, and Natsuo? And, well, basically Endeavor would look to, like, the sides of the walls of the area, and this would cause Izuku to look over, and he would see the, basically two riot spikes, and the riot spikes would have pinned straight through their chests, sticking them to one side of the wall, like Fuyumi's on this side, pinned with a riot spike, and Natsuo's on the other side, pinned with a riot spike, straight to the wall. You know, walls. of Jericho. And, Izuku seeing this, just like, he's trying even harder to speed limp, but he's actually starting to break his bones by doing this. He's, like, straining his body. And so he's, like, trying to look for, look for Shoto. Try to find Shoto. But all he seems to find is a dark substance lining the walls and the floor of the, far off hallway that he's barely able to crawl, on. He's barely able to actually stand up. He's trying really hard, basically, to pull himself up from being sucked into the floor. And that's whenever all of a sudden there would be a door, but there'd be someone in front of the door. And the door would be creaked open slightly, and there would be sunlight coming out from the door. And that's whenever Izuku would be like, "A way out! A way out!" But there would be a person in front of the door. They have blue fire in their hands, surrounding their entire body. It'd be engulfed in blue flames. Engulfed their entire body in blue flames. They would say, "Hello, I am Dobby, and you are about to die." However, then all of a sudden the hulking form of some sort of dark beast that came out of the floor would just trample over on top of Dobby and, basically just eat his entire head. Straight in front of Izuku. However, we then look over to Izuku and then stand up completely, only looking slightly shorter than Carnage. However, it was a little more of a hulking form than Carnage. It didn't have as much height. However, this this creature, did seem to be able to speak. "Hello, Izuku, is it?" And Izuku would be like, "Yes? How do you know my name?" And the creature would be like, "Oh, how do I know your name? Well, it's simple. How do you think Carnage came into being? We are Venom." And then Izuku would just be like, "You're Venom?" And Venom would just be like, "Yes. And about your mother, she really is sad. However, I will indeed let you know that I have found my own way. I have found someone much like you, but also very different in their own way. It's been nice talking with someone who I can technically consider my son, seeing as I was bonded with your mother before she died. Yes, my son. And then Izuku would finally realize, hey, where's Carnage? And then he would remember, oh shit, no. Venom, how would you react if someone told you that your son, your uh, symbiote son, was eaten alive by a symbiote by the name of Riot? And Venom would basically just be like, Riot, he's here. If he is inside your nightmares and your dreams, that means he is very close to coming. He is very close if he is here. And him eating Carnage, stripping Carnage from you, and then eating him in front of you. That's symbols. No, I can't have that happen. Then I guess it's a good thing that I informed Scorn about something like this. Riot was never known to like me, so I guess it was inevitable that Riot would lie about agreeing to the terms of the last little squabble. He never planned on leaving Earth alone. Well, if you ever see a symbiote named Scorn, then you know you have an ally. And about me, well, simply buying time. My new host's quirk is something very splendid indeed. Please, whenever you meet Scorn, just tell her Venom says hi. Oh, and if you ever hear anything from Riot about any symbiotes by the name of All Black or Null, be very wary of anything like that being said out from his teeth. And he's just like, why? Why should I be worried about him saying anything about a Null or an All Black? And Venom will just tell Izuku about the fact that Null is the creator of all symbiotes, like the original creator that was overthrown eventually, in favor, like in the symbiotes that favored peace over conquest. Because there are even symbiotes powerful enough to kill gods. Symbiotes like All Black. And, well, that's where Venom explains about All Black. Basically, All Black, even though Null is technically the original creator, that doesn't make him the strongest. That title goes to All Black. Or at least, that's been his technical badge of, I don't know how much honor you could say it is, how much of a badge of honor, but it definitely is a badge of something. Considering that even though Null is the original creator, All Black, in terms of in the now, as of now, is currently still the strongest symbiote that there is. And so if Riot ever says anything about Null or All Black, or possible, like, basically ever mentions anything about Null or All Black, anything like that, that it could mean something very big is coming up afoot. To be wary of something like that happening. And just to be wary of Riot in general. Like, to keep up with training, or it was already keeping up with the training, train even more intensely, or try to find either, Venom's host, or, Scorn's host, to train with them so they can get the most intense training possible. And the reason why Venom says this is because Venom believes that Riot is bad enough. If Riot mentions something about Null or All Black, or possibly both of them, that's probably not gonna spell good things. And well, basically Izuku just agrees with everything. And so finally, Venom basically says, let's severing the link right now. Like the last of Venom's, parts of Venom that have their own sentience inside of Carnage. The last bits of those parts are now dying off. And so finally Venom can sever the link. No longer, intrude on Izuku's mind, and thus intrude on his progress with his training. And Izuku's like, I have to train. Me and Carnage both have to become stronger. Riot gets here. We have to become strong. And I guess I should put this on a little bit of a list. Not only training, but to look out for the hosts of Venom and Scorn. And, well, we would now come up to the first day of UA, where basically everything would go as in canon. However, the only real difference is that Izuku would be talking to Carnage in his head, and, Shoto would be noting that Izuku's been doing a lot of that lately. Like, is there some sort of secret going on? And so, eventually, Aizawa wakes up and is like, it took you blah 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 long to be quiet. Whatever. Put these on and, head out to the training field. We're gonna do a quirk assessment test. And basically, whenever, people like Kirishima are, looking at Izuku's bod, it is true that Carnage has made some improvements. Physical ones, just overall improvements on Izuku's body. And even helped with, cardio and shit. Basically. So, yeah. Izuku's got a little bit of a couple packs, that he has sporting. But he has, lean muscle. it's like condensed in there. So it's kind of like you have like a twig arm, and like someone with a big fist punches the arm, but it's all like really dense and like condensed, in there. And so whenever you punch the arm, you would break your hand. That's how like much condensed like power is in there. Improving over like time of like training and everything. Izuku's basically been working himself like a racehorse, to get the improvements needed. Not trying to jack himself up too much, but indeed trying to at least get that condensed lean muscle, you know, where he like stores up the actual added punch, deep down inside. It doesn't look like he's very muscular or could do all that much damage. But whenever he actually does go to hit somebody, and if it actually connects, it could actually do some serious damage. And even if it doesn't connect, almost like an All Might thing, like the air pressure from like the movement of the body part, could actually like F you up pretty good. Like pretty bad, pretty gnarly, nasty shit. Like just the air pressure from the movement of the body part at those speeds. Because Izuku's been improving himself, like, over time, and he's been trying to get this perfect, lean muscle, condensed, density muscle build that he doesn't look like much at first, but then, whenever you actually feel strength, that's whenever you notice what you're in for. Either that or you could just suit up. But then he can also go lean with Carnage too. Because he's even, trained Carnage to be able to go lean. To condense Carnage's attacks. And, Carnage can already do a lot of damage already. But, like, Carnage with, like, condensed damage attacks. Like, just one strike would make someone explode. Like, if you weren't careful. Because Carnage is like a mega super duper uber powerhouse. And so, yeah, there'd be some crazy shit up in his house. And, well, during the whole thing, there's like this whole, stuff going on. And secretly in Izuku's head, he's making plans for how to get the best result out of each test, like how to get the best result. And he just keeps on, is like making plans in his head, so it kind of looks like he's staring off into space, but he's really not. He's like really focused actually. Though it's just really hard to tell whenever he's like mean, lean, suit up mode, like Carnage suit up mode. Kind of like Black Suit Spider-Man, but in Carnage colors. Instead of like Black Suit Spider-Man colors. It's kind of like that, like his lean Carnage form. So he's just like staring off into space. Well, really that's not actually the case. It just looks like he's staring off into space. Whenever he's just really actually focusing really hard, on like strategies. Being really strategic. Oh boy. And well, it's about like the last test. It's about to be the last test, the ball throw. And, well, seeing as Izuku, unbeknownst to Izuku, he actually got first place in the entrance exam before he even like monster transformation. He already had more points than anyone else who was participating. So he's the one who gets sent out first. And so he basically, while he's still in his mean, lean Carnage form, like his more lean version, he just like condensed, like vibrating, like all of the energy circling in his hand, and he just like cocks it bad and like boom, and it would send the whole ball a good 420,000 meters. Yes, 420,000 meters. Yes, I did that. I did that. I did that there. Yes, 420,000 meters. And this is just like his lean form. But he doesn't really want to go into his monster carnage form because, he doesn't want to get he doesn't want to give off the wrong vibe to the other, his other classmates. He doesn't really want to do that because, it kind of screws with his image and shit. He's wanting to make some friends, besides his brother and Carnage. So, yeah. He's wanting to make some friends, at least. But then, finally, after all of the ball throws are done, there is one person who's like, finally I got to you, good God. Good God. And they aren't actually saying this to Izuku, because technically Izuku and Shoto, if I remember correctly, I had both of them save the girl. And, well, basically, the girl is just like, oh, sweet Jesus. Oh, God. And Shoto's like, Jesus, take a breath, lady. What's your name again? And then basically she would say, Yayarosu, Mama, Yayarosu. Yes, the girl that was saved was Momo. And, that would basically be all great. And Carnage is just like, when are you gonna get a girl, Izuku? Like, Izuku, when are you gonna get a girl? And Izuku is just like, not really focused on getting girls, more like focused on, becoming a hero. And Carnage is like, well, yeah, but it still, like you said, we really haven't transformed into that monster form because, well, we want to have friends. And, a girlfriend is just, a girl who is your friend. And, well, Izuku was like, fair enough. And, well, now we talking that. Oh boy. I actually think I forgot her name. No, wait. I'm thinking. I don't think I've ever done this ship before. The ship of. Oh my god, the ship of. Holy shit. If I have, sorry, but I don't think I have. Well, basically, a transfer student, you know, the 21st slot in 1A, because he's a transfer student, basically, and a transfer student was going to do the ball throw, but sadly it ended before she was actually able to get there. Like, she said that she was going to get there on time, but something odd got in her way. And, well, it ran off, and eventually she was able to actually get to the school, but by then they were already done with the ball throw. And Aizawa was like, what odd thing could have got in the way of you showing up on time, Miss Himako? Yes, Himako Toga. And basically Toga's like, whenever I say odd, I mean scary, like legit scary, like kill you scary. I'm surprised like it's not an open, like recognized as a villain or something. Like it's like legit scary. And the way she describes the thing that, got in her way. Whenever Izuku hears this description and whenever Shoto hears the description, they automatically, like, Shoto starts to flare up fire, and Izuku starts to flare up that special blue fire. I hear, like, that Shoto remembers him using, and that Izuku remembers this Dobby person using in his nightmare. About, riots and what happened, like, with Venom and shit. And also there are these, like, Scorn, All Black, and Null. So, yeah. Basically, both of them are channeling fire, but Izuku's is blue. They're both channeling fire. And Carnage is just like, stop, Izuku, stop, that hurts. And Izuku's like, we're still having to build up a fire resistance. And, Carnage is like, yes, I can resist your normal flames, but the blue ones are really, really hurt a lot. And, well, Izuku's like, well then, I guess this will just have to be a tryout year. Like, this will just have to be something we do. And, as I was like, excuses. You literally think something like that actually. And then Himako, like, reminds, like, as I like, some of the students that are already in his class have transformation quirks that make them look awfully odd. Like, no offense to them, but, they do. Just to get that out of the way. And as I was like, okay, fine. Well, even if this thing was real, and well, where did it end up going? So that we can get some pro heroes in on this, because I don't think I've ever seen those two kids flare up fire like that. Not unless it's something serious. And, like Shoto and Izuku are indeed flaring up flames. And, Aizawa, don't think he didn't realize whenever, Izuku was flaring up blue flames. And so, yeah. Aizawa was going to have to report to the Hero Association about this. Call them up. And, whenever, the heroes hear about this creature, and Endeavor also heard the description about what Riot looked like. He knows what Riot is supposed to look like. So when Endeavor hears this from Aizawa, this description of what this girl apparently saw, this transfer student, he's like, Aizawa, you idiot! Didn't I already tell you? And Aizawa was like, it's not my fault. Jesus. And technically it's not her fault either, but still, come on. And Endeavor's like, no, not come on. This is not a come on matter. This is a matter of freaking alien, monster, evil thing, and God knows what it's going to do, or what it already has done. And it's probably after my sons, or at least one of my sons, but still, that will not go unpunished. So, if your little hero school just lets this fly, there is going to be some repercussions. Let me tell you that here for sure, as I am the number 2 freaking hero. Endeavor. Deal with it, Aizawa. And Aizawa was just like, oh, shit. Okay, then. Basically, Aizawa was like, attention, Principal Netsu, we might need to lock up the school perimeters, lockdown, complete and total lockdown, considering, what I've just been informed of. And, he talking to Principal Netsu about it, and Principal Netsu's, heard from Endeavor about Riot, and, Principal Netsu was just like, good call, Aizawa. Definitely school lockdown. And, they try on the whole school lockdown strategy. And why I say try, emphasis on the word try. Because, what do you know? Not everything is, not everything that glitters is gold, trust me. Not everything that glitters is gold. And we can clearly see that from the fact of boom, boom, boom. Just like the sound of boom, and boom, boom, and then just caving in, one of the walls caving in. And there's just this big hulking monster. And as I was like, holy shit. Oh god, this is, no, this is bad. And, Aizawa is just like, this is bad. Natsu, you got past the school lockdown. I got past the school lockdown. What do we do? Shit. And basically, seeing as All Might is a part of the staff, All Might gets called in to battle it out with this hulking monster. And, All Might is just like, I am here. And Aizawa was like, yes, and it would be very nice if you were to just get rid of this damn thing right here, right now. And, All Might would be like, okay, Carolina Smash. And basically, a Carolina Smash, and then, just gets flicked by, flick. And I'm like, just gets sent into one of the walls. And I'm just like, ow, that hurt a lot. And I was just like, holy sweet Jesus, this is not good. And then the creature speaks. I, riot, I will kill all you. And then Izuku realizes something very strange about this riot, riot. Like, from the description, it doesn't remember its body being so, like, maneuverable in, like, the state in which it's gotten a host. Like, usually it sticks around the form of the host. It doesn't, like, move all around like freaking flubber. Like a skirt made of flubber. And, Shoto sees this as well, and he's like, oh yeah, that is very freaking strange. And he's like, Izuku, what the hell do you think it means? And Kara just pops out of Izuku's shoulder and is like, it means that the person who he made as host had a quirk that had a function like that. Seems something, a muscle fiber quirk. And, Shoto was like, a muscle fiber quirk? And, Aizawa was like, wait, wasn't there, like something in the news about the water hose heroes being killed by someone with a muscle fiber quirk? Their villain alias Muscular? And then, Riot would just peel the face off and be like, kill me. And then just like face back on. Oh, you see it. Oh. First thing I'll be seeing is nothing but the black abyss of death. And Izuku and Shoto are just like, so he took that muscular guy as host. His host. And, Riot explains that he basically drains through hosts like monthly, basically like just goes through like hosts monthly, like recycling them. Just like to get stronger and stronger. And Izuku's just like, well, fan-freaking-tastic. This is not good. And basically, someone from like general studies comes down to the field where everybody is, and is like, whoa, I heard some freaking boom noises and crashing sounds, and like, basically like all of the class heard that, and I was the one who was sent down to check up. And basically, Shota Aizawa remembers that this kid is none other than Hitoshi Shinso of General Studies. Basically, Power Loaders class. Yeah, the one that Power Loader teaches. So, basically, someone from General Studies just got sent down here because they heard freaking noises. Excuse me. And, well, something about, like Izuku's spidey sense as like starts tangling off the freaking walls, falls off the walls whenever he's looking at this kid. And Shoto is actually like, Izuku, are you okay? And Carnage just pops out of the shoulder and just like, that's the one. Venom. And Shoto's like, what? And Izuku's like, sorry Shoto, gotta do this. And then just jumps down the entire, like several, different, seats on the bleachers, and, he was like, whoop, and just lands like a freaking cat, on his feet. And just turns over to look at, Shinso, and is like, you just happen to know anything about, anything, called Venom? And Shinso's like, the hell? Can you read my mind or something? And, well, basically, they kind of have, one of those little, like in The Shining, whenever that one, I forget the name of the guy, the black guy that, the kid, talks to, whenever he's eating the chocolate ice cream in that one scene in The Shining, they called it Shining. They could hold conversations with, in between the two of them without even moving their mouths. That's basically what's happening with, Izuku and Shinso. They're literally, connecting via symbiote. Carnage remembers, and Venom remembers. Yes, that's right. Venom is like, so you found us, and so early, too. The first day. And Carnage is like, well, it isn't really that hard whenever you have a spidey sense like ours. And Venom is like, oh, you're right. And, it would just be like, so, I assume you would want to get this all done and over with? And then, Carnage is like, 1 second. And it was like, Izuku, we gonna inform Shoto or not? And then Izuku's like, Shoto? And it just gives him a sign language explanation for what's happened. And Shoto's just like, oh, well, I'll go call up Dad. Beep, whoop, beep, beep. Dad, yep, it's happened. Yep. Broke into the school. Even after fortifying it, broke into the school. And Endeavor's just like, see, I told you this was going to happen. Ugh, Principal Nesson, what the hell? And just like, I'll be over there. And sure enough, he is. And so, Izuku with Carnage, and Shoto, and Endeavor, and Shinso with Venom, like Shoto, Endeavor, Izuku with the Carnage Symbiote, and Shinso with the Venom Symbiote. Yes, Venom lives. Venom lives to see another day. And that's all because he found Shinso. And so basically, truth be told, Shinso didn't just hear what happened, he also spidey sensed what happened. His spidey sense went off crazy. Because, Venom is kind of the originator of the symbiote spidey sense. And so what would happen, it would just be all of them would just go on and go straight towards Riot would be like, come on, face me like a man. And Endeavor would just be like, oh, you have no idea how much I want to do this. Riot, face your death. And, Shoto would be like, save some room for me. Just throwing ice and fire. At Riot. And, well, whenever it comes to Izuku and Shinso, well, they basically tendrils. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Basically, Shinso uses the venom tendrils, the venom symbiote tendrils, to kind of wrap around Riot and kind of choke him out. And in multiple places at once, so that if he tried to slither out, he'd be caught up, kind of like chicken wire. Like it gets stuck. Kind of like a chicken wire spider web. Is the best way I can explain it. Chicken wire spider web. And the way Izuku is using the tendrils is basically he is mixing them up with another type of symbiote attack. Spikes. Spike tendrils. Yes. And he is using them like freaking Morning Star flail. Like, foosh, foosh, foosh. And just hack and slash away. But also, he is summoning up a freaking... basically combining his fire and his ice to create basically like Mizuton. And basically, the moment he says Mizuton, because like Mizu water and like how a lot of the things in like Naruto end with like ton, so like Mizuton, like Mizuton. And this is like one of the water like style hand signs. This is one of those. So it'd be like Mizuton, and basically as soon as he says that, you'd be like water dragon, and be like release. And then a water dragon would just erupt and just go kablooey all over Riot. And Riot, at the end of the day, you would just be like, that hurt. And he'd just be like symbiote jello at the end of the day, like symbiote paste. But Riot would try to milk Muscular for all that he was worth and constantly smash his body against the fortification from the inside and bust out, basically running like a freaking scaredy pants. And Izuku would be like, why are you running, Riot? And this is basically whenever Izuku would just be like, give me a boost. And basically, Shinso would go full Venom Symbiote transformation and pick Izuku up, throw him into the air. Izuku would turn around to where he was facing Riot whenever he hit the ground. He would land on his feet, but he would no longer be in the lean transformation. He would be monster form Carnage. And he'd be like, where's the fun now? Riot. Not so fun whenever you're the one getting destroyed. You tried to destroy my mind with your presence here on Earth. And then you threaten the life of a student of this illustrious UA Academy. Someone who could potentially be my friend. And not only that, but your presence here threatens the life of my own family and possible friends. You threaten everything I have ever loved, or could possibly come to love in the future. You threaten all of that, and I will not stand for it. You will get just riot. And well, basically Riot, after, getting pretty much happy slapped, all sorts of silly, Izuku in his monster form now, he's just making it worse and worse and worse. And it's to the point where Riot is about to get, killed. And basically, Carnage just decides to mirror something that Riot did in the nightmare. Rips Riot from Muscular. Basically lays Muscular on the ground to bleed out and die. Because there's not much of him left. After what Riot basically does to all of his hosts. And he freely admits to doing this. And, kind of really enjoying doing it. Izuku would, see... Izuku and Carnage would see Riot's, deflated, jello-like state form. And, just look at it and be like, look at you, Riot. Look at what you've become. Because of what you tried to do. I won't stand for anyone trying to threaten what I hold dear. Not even other symbiotes. And I think I'm going to do something that's going to make that very clear. Right about... And he's holding him above his mouth now. Home. And he basically eats Riot. And using all the genetic memory stuff, eating Riot, the power-up, the boost that gives Izuku and Carnage, them both, the boost of power is insane. They feel untouchable. This boost of power is flexing throughout all their body. Like they just went Super Saiyan. And, well, this is a really feel-good feeling. And, Toga just walks up to Izuku while he's still in the monstrous Carnage form. And, Izuku deflates down to his regular self. D-suits from Carnage. Carnage slinks back into his skin. And, well, basically, Izuku and Toga are able to meet properly, face to face. And, Carnage would be like, Izuku, your hormone levels are rising again. And Shoto would just be like, well, hot damn. You're talking about how you didn't think whatever about girls and shit. What? My ass. You just got yourself one right there. And she ain't that bad either. And Toga's like, oh, you, who do you think you are? And Shoto's like, well, Izuku's brother. Adopted, freaking brother, but still brother. And Toga's like, oh, so Izuku, you're a Todoroki? And Izuku's like, Midoriya Todoroki, to be more exact. Oh god, that was a workout and a half. But hey, at least I know that there are some others out there that are my friends. Not just you, Toga, but, well, looking at you over there, buddy. And he's just eyeing Shinso, like Izuku's just eyeing Shinso. And, Shinso is just like, I think I need to go back to my class. And Venom's like, you idiot, Shinso. School is already over. Dumbass. And Izuku's like, Jesus, aggressive, Dad. Well, other dad. Like, aggressive other dad. Don't you think? And Venom is like, Izuku, whatever. And Venom would just be like, laughing like, And so this first day of school would have been a hell of a lot more eventful than the first day of school in canon, because we had a symbiote attack. And also figured out that Venom lives because Shinso, a student from, I forget what it freaking general studies, a student from general studies, Hitoshi Shinso, bonded with Venom sometime in the past. But they indeed did bond. And so Venom lives. And Hitoshi Shinso and Izuku are now becoming quick, good friends. Same thing with Izuku and Toga. So, you could say Izuku already has himself a friend group of growing. And the fact that he technically has two fathers, well, two alive fathers. If we count like alive and dead, he would have three fathers, but nope, Asashi be dead, so two fathers. So yeah, just the madness has now been just unfolded, and well, Endeavor's just like, come on, you two, let's go home. And Izuku's like, okay, I guess. And Shoto's like, what, are you sad that the girl can't come with you? Man, you really must be head over heels with her. And then Momo would just shoulder check Shoto in the fucking chin. Like, bam, like, shoulder check him for being a dick. And Shoto would be like, okay, fine. Stop, okay? Jesus. And so, yeah. Basically, Endeavor would stop for a little bit before, turning around and saying that, Miss Himiko, if you would like, we, might perhaps, invite you over for dinner. And Izuku's just like, thank you, Dad. He's like, thank you so much. Because he actually really likes Toga. So yeah. And Endeavor's also like, and if it's okay with your parents, Miss Yayarozu, and possibly the same thing. And, Momo just blushes a little, and Shoto's just like, Dad? WTF? like, inviting both our girlfriends? And Izuku's just like, what do you mean, girlfriend? Okay, fine, you win. We might be boyfriend girlfriend material, but not yet. It's not so soon. Just give it time, okay, Shoto? Give it time. And Shoto's like, I'm just pranking you, brother. And I'm just pranking you. And so they all eventually do their thing. And, well, what a nice, pleasant surprise that over at the Todoroki household, Toga and Momo are able to make it over there, and they have dinner with the Todorokis. And Natsuo and Fumi don't seem to give a damn, so, if they really don't care, they really can't. If they really don't care, that shows that they're really not all that angry, because you have to actually care to be angry. So, it just shows that seeing as they don't seem to care, all is well and good, I guess. So, yeah, that's that. And I think that, well, first, before Momo and Toga would leave, like, Momo would be like, Shoto? And Shoto would be like, yes, Momo? You mind if you come over here? You might, need something? And Shoto would be like, yeah, what is it you need? And Momo would just be like, you like pranking your brother? I just pranked you. And, he would be like, wait, what? And Momo would just bring Shoto in for a kiss. He would have literally just been sabotaged. That man would have just been sabotaged right there. Didn't need no help. She was literally sabotaging the man's. Yeah. And, Shoto would just be blushing like a freaking tomato, contemplating like everything, his life. And, Izuku, he would be outside, just, talking with, Toga. And, there would just be real Netflix and chill mode. Yes, I brought that meme back from the dead. Netflix and chill mode. It lives. It does indeed live. Anyways, they'd just be Netflix and chill mode up in this house. And all of a sudden, let's just say that Carnage, being the little devil that he is, decides to stick some tendrils out from Izuku's neck and wrap them around Toga's neck, pulling the two, like magnetizing them together while they're talking, and so their lips meet and so do their tongues. Literally, French kiss. The first kiss of these two is a French kiss. Not only lips, but tongue. You know, Shoto got a kiss, but he didn't get a French kiss. You know, Momo wasn't going to try that shit out. You know, Carnage made it to where it may have been an accidental French kiss, but it was still a French kiss. You know, he just been Frenched. And all because of his symbiote buddy. His symbiote brother. And, you know, Izuku would be like, Carnage WTF? Like legit, Carnage WTF. Like, legit, WTF. And Toga would be like, she would just faint. It'd be like one of those Hinata moments where she's blushing so hard that she faints. And, well, just freaking, you know, Natsuo would just see this and be like, oh, so my brother, my adopted bro, is a little bit of a romancer, a little bit of a woman's man. Natsuo didn't see the part where Carnage was the reason why they French kissed. So he's thinking that that was all, you know, Izuku's doing. That he's being a romancer, a womanizer, a player. And Fuyumi is just like, Shoto, why do you turn into a tomato? You know. Basically, it would just be like, Fuyumi would be like, literally, Shoto, why are you like a freaking tomato? And she would like poke Shoto to try to see if like get a reaction. And then all of a sudden, Shoto would just fall backwards and like blood would squirt out of his nose whenever he did. And his head would hit into a wall. And yeah, so basically, Shoto would have not been prepared for Momo's kiss. And to say, you know, Izuku's feeling good about the entire matter, like, he would be rage quitting on the Carnage the entire time. Just like massive amounts of freaking rage quit. And, oh boy, how the night would be. Momo and Toga finally gone. You know, Izuku finally walking into the house and seeing his brother, you know, having fallen into a wall and, you know, nose bleeding profusely. He would just slap him on the back and basically, yeah, like, he would just cough, like, spurt out, like, thanks, Izuku. Thanks. And Izuku's like, nah, it's nothing much, nothing about it. And everything would just be a gay old time. In the whole Todoroki household. And that is indeed where I'm going to be leaving it off. Hey, that's all, folks. Lay me on pause.